Attention passionate Chicago, Bears fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Chicago Bears' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Chicago Bears fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Chicago Bears fans. Let's get to the news folks. There's some serious buzz swirling around the NFC North, and it's centered on a potential blockbuster trade that could shake up the landscape of the division. And no, I'm not talking about some minor move. This could be a game changer for the Chicago Bears, especially if it materializes the way some insiders are suggesting. The name that's been popping up more and more in these rumors, Amon-Ra St. Brown from the Detroit Lions. That's right. The Lions, sitting at 8-5 but battling inconsistency on offense, are reportedly considering trading one of their biggest offensive weapons. And the Bears, always looking to bolster their attack, might be right in the middle of that action. Let's break down what's going on here. The Lions, despite their winning record, have struggled with offensive production, averaging just 24 points a game in 2025. They're sitting in a decent spot in the standings, but their offense has been hit or miss, mainly due to some injuries and inconsistency. Sources indicate that Detroit is mulling over a trade that would send Amon-Ra St. Brown, their versatile slot receiver, to the Bears in exchange for draft picks and a cornerback. The idea behind this move: the Lions want to free up about $21 million in cap space to rebuild their defensive line, which has been hit with injuries and some concerning concussion issues. They're also looking to improve their odds for a Super Bowl run, which, with the right adjustments, is not out of the question given their plus 1,000 odds in the betting markets. Now, Amon-Ra St. Brown isn't just your average receiver. He's a true slot king, a versatile playmaker who can line up all over the field and create mismatches. In 2025, he's hauled in 80 catches for 80 yards, averaging 5 yards per reception with 8 touchdowns. His PFF grade overall is an impressive 89. Ranking him among the top wide receivers in the league. What makes him stand out even more are his yards per route run, which is in the top 9, and his yards after catch, totaling 450 yards, putting him third in the league for YAC. That's the kind of explosiveness and elusiveness that the Bears have been craving in their offense. Remember, the Bears currently rank 12th in receiver production, with about 500 yards total. But adding a player like St. Brown could boost that number significantly, perhaps by around 260 yards per game, giving Justin Fields a true slot weapon to complement DJ Moore. Let's talk about his profile a bit more. At 6 feet tall and 202 pounds, St. Brown has the size and agility to make contested catches, and he's shown he can be a reliable target in tight spots. His career stats are already eye-popping, over 500 yards and 55 touchdowns, and he's been a consistent separator with a 56% contested catch rate. His injury history shows a hamstring issue in Week 7, but he still played 93% of the snaps that week, demonstrating toughness and durability. His comparison to Cooper Kupp is apt. He creates separation, and PFF notes he has about 11% more separation than Kupp, which is huge for a slot receiver. His yards per game are around 83, with 19 receptions of 15 yards or more, and he's known for making big plays against top defenses. From Detroit's perspective, the trade makes sense. They have about $17 million in cap space, and with their odds of winning the Super Bowl sitting at plus 1,000, they're looking to make a push. Their defense, ranked 18th in DVOA, has been battered with 3 concussion-related issues on the line, and they're considering rebuilding their trenches. Some insiders suggest they're eyeing a rebuild of their defensive front, and moving St. Brown could free up the cap and draft capital needed to reinforce their lines. The fact that Detroit is a bit cautious about pairing Goff with a new receiver like St. Brown, especially given the team's current injury fatigue on the offensive line, indicates they're trying to be strategic about this move. But what about the impact on the Bears? Well, it's pretty significant. Chicago is sitting at 9-4, and their wide receiver unit, while solid, needs that extra spark. Currently, they rank 12th in the league in receiver yards, but adding a player like St. Brown could elevate them to a whole new level. Imagine Justin Fields with a reliable slot threat who can gain 20 or more yards per reception, open up the entire field, and make defenses think twice. His presence would allow the Bears to run more play action, increasing their explosiveness. It's not just about adding a slot receiver. It's about transforming the entire offensive dynamic, making it more unpredictable and dangerous. Furthermore, the stats back this up. If St. Brown joins the Bears, projections suggest he could add around 100 yards in the remaining games, boosting their offense's efficiency and red zone success rate, currently around 60%, but with him it could climb to 75%. That's a massive upgrade. And let's not forget, historically, St. Brown has been a catalyst for the Lions' offense, adding over 200 yards in some games last season. His ability to make plays in tight coverage and turn short routes into big gains is exactly what the Bears need to push further into the playoffs. Now, talking about the bigger picture, the Super Bowl odds are interesting. With this move, the Bears could see their chances improve from plus 1,200 to as low as plus 700, especially considering St. Brown's ability to be a mismatched nightmare in the playoffs. Some analysts believe that his presence could increase their probability of winning by around 25%, and that's not a small number when you're talking about playoff chances and Super Bowl aspirations. The combination of Fields, DJ Moore, and St. Brown would create a lethal offensive trio that defenses would struggle to contain. And let's consider the Lions' side of things. They're in a bit of a tricky spot. They're trying to stay competitive, but also need to rebuild their defense. The move for St. Brown seems like a way to push the reset button, especially with the team's current injuries and their need for a more balanced attack. The general consensus among insiders is that Detroit might be a bit skeptical about how well a receiver like St. Brown pairs with Jared Goff long-term, but the potential gains in offensive production and cap space could outweigh those doubts, at least for now. They're eyeing a future where their defense can catch up, and this trade could be a key part of that strategy. For the Bears, this is all about seizing the moment. The team has been building steadily, and with Fields emerging as a dynamic playmaker, adding a weapon like St. Brown could be the final piece to turn their offense into a true powerhouse. Chicago fans have been eager for a breakout star, and this move could bring that spark. It would also send a strong message that the Bears are serious about contending, not just for a playoff spot, but for a deep run in the postseason. With the right pieces, and especially with someone who can generate yards after catch and create mismatches, they could become one of the most dangerous teams in the league. Of course, trades like this don't happen overnight, and there are always questions about fit, chemistry, and how well players adapt to new teams. But if the Bears pull the trigger, it could be a move that defines their season, elevates their offense, and sets the stage for a postseason run that no one saw coming. Imagine the energy in Soldier Field if St. Brown joins the squad. His playmaking ability, combined with the talent already there, could make Chicago a real force to be reckoned with. And now, Chicago Bears fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to US and TO, the Chicago Bears. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Chicago Bears news.